Welcome back, Charleston, as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. Again, I'm your host, Brian Beatty. Thanks for joining me this morning as we talk about real estate here in the Low Country. We're talking about the process of selling a home and buying another. How do we do that without owning two homes at once? How do we do that without becoming homeless? What's the right way to do it? Well, I think the answer is there's no real right way to do it. There are a few different options, though, than just waiting for you to find the one that you like and then, as quickly as possible, trying to get your home on the market, under contract, and sold so you can actually buy it. So I want to talk through this process a little bit more. We were talking before the break on something called a kickout clause, which says that even if your home that you want to buy is under contract, you have an agreement with that seller to purchase it, but that agreement is contingent upon you selling your house first. Those types of deals usually come with something called a kickout clause, which states that if somebody else, another buyer, comes along and they do not have to sell their house and they make an offer, the seller has the right to provide you with notice. And if you cannot prove that you can buy their house without selling your home first, then you move to a backup position and the seller can kick you out of the process and go with a different buyer. As you get further and further along in the process of selling your home, marketing your home, the greater the likelihood or the chance of you as the buyer removing that kickout clause. In other words, the more steps you take to prove to the seller of the home that you're trying to buy that, hey, I will be on and off the market very quickly. We're prepared. We're priced right. I've got a great agent to market the property. We have every confidence that this will be under contract, closed, and that this deal will go through, right? Well, we all know that there are certain things that are outside of all of our control, but we can be as prepared as possible. So here are a few different ideas for the process of selling a home and buying another that I just don't hear a lot about, which is interesting. It's very linear, the advice that agents give their clientele. And let's be honest, this is a bit of a tricky transaction. So I think agents prefer to try and keep things simple. The challenge is the simple approach for you, the person that wants to sell a home and buy another, might not be the best approach. And it's probably in all likelihood going to result in you not getting the house. I mean, that's the risk that we run, right? Is that if we're not going to do anything to prepare our home for sale and take necessary steps to prove to the seller that we're serious, then we might not even get a chance to do any of that because they're going to reject the offer. And in a market that has, over the past several years, been very heavily favored toward sellers, it's been really hard to get somebody to agree to a contract where you need the protection of selling your home first before you can buy theirs. So here are a few different ideas. And I know a lot of folks that are listening are in this same position right now. Please know that for our real estate team, for me personally, a lot of my real estate transactions are this way. We work with people that sell a home, buy another. And by the way, if you do both transactions with us, we'll pay all your moving expenses. So 843-400-8009 is my phone number. If what I'm talking about is your situation and you want more specifics, let's talk about some of the options in detail. Let's talk about what they mean for you. Let's look at the risk reward. Let's put a game plan together. My number is 843-400-8009. That's 843-400-8009. Or go to listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or you can send me an email, brian@brianbeattyteam.com. That's Brian with an I at brianbeatty, BEATTY, team.com. So let's talk about some of these other options. Well, the first option could be that rather than just simply saying, you know what, if I see something I like, then I'll take the necessary steps at that point in time. Why not go ahead and interview and select your listing agent, allow them to take photos. And this is something that I think a lot of agents just don't talk about because they don't have the resources to do this. And I'm not saying that as a slight against agents. It's just what I'm about to say is a little challenging for some agents. when you list a property with a real estate agent, you have two options as per the agreement. Option number one is what you would traditionally think about when you're selling a house. It goes on the MLS, right? It goes on all these different websites, and it goes to anybody and everybody, right? The other option is what we call a brokerage exclusive listing, which states that I am only allowed to introduce your property to people that I've already been in contact with, my database, or any other agent in my brokerage's database. In other words, we can't go out there and publicly market the property and find new buyers. We can only work with the people that we've already been in contact with. Well, for most agents, they don't have enough of a database to effectively market a home that way. They've got maybe a few hundred people that are in their database. We've got one database with 22,000 folks in it. We've got another database with almost 300,000 people in it. So our ability, plus the fact that I've got 20 team members and, we collectively make, 15,000 dials a week, that's a lot of opportunities for us to connect the dots, for us to connect the buyer and a seller. But I think the point in saying that is, if you find somebody that has the database, that has the ability to market your home internally, not only can you get a leg up on the, a head start, so to speak, but you might even find your buyer, which then increases the likelihood of your offer being accepted, because now instead of just saying, hey, I really like your house and I want to buy it, but I got to do all this stuff associated with the sale of my home first. Now you get to go and say, hey, I've already got a buyer for my house. We're already under contract. I know you can't see my home online. It's not technically listed for sale, but we do have a contract on it. So rather than it being contingent upon the listing and marketing of my house in order to find a buyer, close on it, and purchase your home, all we need to do is close with the people that we already have under contract. It's frankly a much more efficient way of doing things. It allows us, the real estate agent, to lay some groundwork. Maybe we don't find the buyer. Maybe we just have some great conversations, but you also never really know where that buyer can come from. I can't tell you the number of times I've had conversations with buyers in our database, and then, the next day or the day after, got a random call from a buyer asking about the property that said they heard about it from one of their friends, and these homes aren't even on the market. They're not publicly available. But obviously that's the strength in working with the team that has a big database that knows how to effectively communicate with it for your benefit. But that's option number one, is to let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. Get your agent hired, get photos taken, let them start having conversations with buyers about your house. Maybe even find one, hopefully find one. I mean, that's the goal. And now when you go to a seller, you're way ahead of the curve. Option number two is to go ahead and list your home for sale. You can price it aggressively, meaning it's going to sell faster. You can slightly overprice it, which all you're really gaining there is the benefit of being able to tell the seller, hey, we're already on the market. You accept my offer, I'll adjust the price to this, which will cause it to sell, and we'll be on our way to closing. But you could also list it at a competitive price and have a home purchase contingency. See, when you're going to a seller saying, hey, I want to buy your house, but I've got to sell my home first, that's a home sale contingency. Nothing is stopping you from listing your home for sale and including a home purchase contingency, meaning, hey, I'll sell my home to you. I will agree to, a contract, but I have to have a certain amount of time to find a replacement property and put that home under contract. And if I can't within that amount of time, then I have to make our agreement null and void. I won't force you to do an inspection before I go and find my other house. I'll let you lock up a contract on my house, but if I can't find something else, then deal is off. I don't see that hardly at all in our market. It's a great option. It really is. So there you go. It's not really outside of the box either. I mean, it's pretty common sense. It's just I just never see them. I never see those listings on our MLS. It's a fantastic option for those that are thinking about selling their home and buying another. The third option is that there are multiple companies out there that exist that will basically act as the middleman from a financing perspective between you selling your home and you buying another. So what most will do, and I know there's plenty of advertising out there, and we have it too, that says, hey, rather than selling your home or making the purchase contingent upon you selling your home, we'll help you buy the other property that you want to buy, and then you can just buy it back from us once you sell your home. Well, by us, I think what a lot of agents are referring to is the company that actually does this. There is actually no involvement on that agent's end from a financial perspective. But here's how it works. You make an offer to, so same scenario, right? You need to sell your home in order to buy another. You find a house that you want to buy. Rather than doing it contingent upon you selling your house, you say, hey, I've got this third-party company that's actually going to buy this house for me, cash. So we are, in fact, a cash buyer. I'm going to guarantee that closing. And this company will go out and they'll buy the house for you. Now, they're going to charge you 2% of the purchase price. And then you're going to have to rent that from them on a per diem basis, based on fair market rent for that house. But you can make an offer and have it appear as though you are a cash buyer. All these marketing things that say upgrade your offer to cash. That's what it is. And it can be a really good option for some folks. So even if you make this offer and you say, hey, we are a cash buyer, or we're going to guarantee the closing, there's nothing stopping you from going ahead and putting your house on the market. And if you can sell it before that company buys it, then you can just buy it. In other words, you're removing the risk for the seller and you're kind of removing the risk for yourself. It costs you a little extra. Now, it kind of begs the question, is that a wise financial move? Should I go and pay 2% of the purchase price and then fair market rent until my home closes? Well, number one, if you want the house badly enough, that might make sense for you. You might be willing to pay for that convenience. Number two, if you make an offer contingent upon you selling your house, just like the traditional way we'd mentioned at the very beginning of the show, where you're not really going to take any steps to do anything to sell your house before you find something that you want to buy, which logically makes sense. Well, in order for the seller to inherit the risk associated with taking your offer and waiting for you to put it on the market, hope that you price it right, hope that your agent actually knows what they're doing and get it under contract and close, well, maybe that seller wants a little bit of a buffer, meaning they want more money. They want to sell it for more money. We'll take your offer, but we're not going to negotiate with you. If you want it, you're going to have to pay our price. So things to think about. The really cool thing about real estate is you can put basically whatever you want into a contract so long as both parties agree. There are creative ways of approaching these processes. And I think this is where experience counts. This is where experience matters. And it goes past just talking about it. We've done it. So if that's something that you'd like to discuss in greater detail with myself or my real estate team, give me a call, 843-400-8009. That's 843-400-8009. Or check us out online at listingsincharleston.com. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back for more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.